Welcome everyone to the Lion's Den. I'm Jimmy Haas, your host. We do this thing weekly, or at least we try when we're able to make it, weather permitting, travel scheduling permitting. But we do this thing and talk about UA Fort Smith athletics. Today we have Payton Brown on the show with us. Of course, Payton played in my hometown down in Waldron, and been a part of the Lions program for a couple of years now. Payton going through a rehab, and it happened early in the season, your injury,
Yes,
but
sir.
you're getting stronger. Matter of fact, you have rehab today as
Yeah.
soon as we get finished.
Yes, sir. Nope. Rehab's going good. It kind of sucked. It happened in the first game, first 8 minutes of the game. We were looking to have a good year, and just unexpected. But you just have to face adversity. So going to rehab every day and just getting stronger to come back for next year.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because Brian's been a part of the school for several years, and he's one of those that you don't get to see just how hard he works or how many hours he puts in. But Brian it's like he's always there. Every time I'm there, it doesn't matter, morning, noon, or night, Brian's always there.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's really helped me out with my rehab. I mean, he spends probably 2 to 3 hours with me every day, and mostly just one-on-one, me and him. And no, he really pushes me to get back and help my knee get stronger.
So what are your plans? I mean, you be able to make it back this year? Is it going to be next year? What schedule are you on?
So I probably won't be able to do anything basketball-wise until almost June.
Okay.
So the plan is to just start doing that, keep rehabbing, and be back for next year around first practice, around August.
Good. A lot of times during the summer, I'll see the things pop up on Facebook where you're giving shooting clinics and to some of the younger kids, and you have a lot of fans. You have a lot of kids that follow you, that come to the games, that watch, and now we see these Payton Brown kids that just want to shoot like you. And your dad was a good ball player. You're an even better ball player, and I love being able to say that because you broke a scoring record.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, I know that your family has been supporting you and keeping you or help keep you focused. And it's tough, but I mean, as an athlete, it is tough.
Yes, sir. No, I really try to just give back and help the kids out around the area. I mean, I enjoy working with the kids and doing things like that. So it's great to be able to put on camps and stuff like that for all the kids to come to and get to know me a little better than just on the basketball court.
So we talked a little bit before we went on the show. What are your plans after your basketball days?
So the plans are, I mean, I've thought about going overseas and playing basketball, and then I've also thought about getting into the coaching side of things and starting a side business of basketball training. So that's kind of where I'm at with my plans after college.
Ever consider going back to Waldron? Coach Blake Branham is down at Hackett. That's where he played. That's where all of his family played. Ever thought about that?
Yeah, no, I've definitely thought about it. I mean, I would love to go back and coach at Waldron. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet to go there where I played all my career. So yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Tough environment down there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, they love basketball, and it's a tough environment. You have to get on the court and produce night in and night out. You know that. You've been through it. You've seen it. The fan base is good. They follow and they support.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say that's probably our biggest sport down there is basketball. And so yeah, there's a lot of fans there that come out and support for basketball.
So Payton, you've been in the Lone Star. Now we're in the MIAA. What do you feel like is the biggest difference between the two?
I would feel like the biggest difference is the pace of the game. I feel like this conference is a little bit slower pace. Now, there are some teams that play fast still, but I think this is more of a controlled game, and the Lone Star is more of just a fast-paced, push-it kind of game. That's a lot of what I've seen.
So a lot of people have compared it to Big Ten basketball, where it is slower. It's more of a use up most all of the shot clock.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lone Star was. I mean, they'd get down and they'd want to shoot and then get back down on defense. So yeah, I see that. I know that you don't miss the travel that you had in the Lone Star. Some of those bus rides were brutal.
Yeah, that was rough. Some of those were rough. Yeah, 12, 13 hours. Yeah. Not fun on a bus.
Do you feel like that growing up in a small town helped you, or did it keep you focused by not having as many students around you? Do you feel like growing up in a small town helped you get prepared for college?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would say that was an advantage because I mean, as other like the bigger towns, more kids are there, so there's more
Hmm.
kids getting playing time and stuff like that. So from a small town like I was, like getting playing time from an early age, as some
Right.
kids may not at bigger schools and stuff like that. So I was always in the mix of the fire around the sport.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would definitely say that helped.
So many times we see kids come out of a smaller school and they're a big fish in a little bitty pond, and they're the best player on the team, and then they move to a college, and all of a sudden they're not that big fish in a little pond. Now they're a small fish in a great big pond. You came right in, and was in your freshman year. You led the league in scoring, so the transition was just automatic for you.
Yeah. Now the transition. I mean, I put in the work over the summer to get ready for it with the coaching staff that was here before, and so I mean, it was just a really easy transition, especially coming in my freshman year with the people that were here. So yeah, it was pretty easy.
One of the things that I like about having recruiting kids from around the area, and the coaches have done a really good job of that here at UA Fort Smith, is the family and the travel time. You actually, your family's able to come up
Yeah,
and
every
watch you
game.
play. And I know just looking up in the stands and seeing your family, that's got to be a big boost.
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the big reasons why I wanted to come here. I mean, close by, get to go see my family every once in a
Hmm.
while. They get to come up here, so yeah, that's great. That's great having them around.
Toughest class so far.
Toughest class, probably macroeconomics, probably macro or micro, one of them two, for sure.
Favorite class.
Favorite class, uh, probably business analytics. I like that one.
Good, good, good answer. Really good answer. Um, you've seen a couple of coaching staffs now, and with Coach Gibson, he was here with Coach Newman when Josh was head coach here. Um, he's come a long way from when he first got on campus as an assistant, and now the team is his, and I mean he's putting in the work. I mean the guy just works countless hours, and so um, difference in some of the practices that you've seen because you transferred
Yeah.
for just a little bit, and not sure what you saw as far as practice schedules there, but then I mean then you got an injury, and we're luckily you came back to UA Fort Smith, but practice schedules they work them around your school.
Yeah. No, I would definitely say the practice schedule since I've been here has almost always been the same, like the times
Hmm.
wise. And so I would definitely say the weights and everything. I mean, there's two different. I mean, the weights were different with him, Coach Boone. The
Hmm.
weights are different with Coach Gibson. I mean, the practices are definitely more fast paced with Gibson. So I mean, I like that. We're always going, we're always doing
Hmm.
something. So I mean, that's definitely great to have. I mean, it helps us with our conditioning where we're not having to just get on the baseline and run. And so yeah, that's definitely great having that.
We we've seen some highs, we've seen some lows, seen some heartbreakers. What's your favorite memory so far in your college playing career?
My favorite memory right now would probably be from my freshman year when we beat BBU at home and they were ranked like 7 or 8 and
Hmm.
we beat them on it. They had a last shot at the buzzer to beat us, but rimmed out and we
Yeah.
ended up winning. So that feeling was pretty good.
Yeah, anytime you can beat DBU, that's always a good feeling because
Yeah,
it's a good program, and fantastic coaches, and you talk about a school that has a fan base. Anytime you go to Dallas Baptist, it's kind of a unique school because they play Division II basketball, but they play Division I baseball.
yeah, no, yes
So
sir,
a lot of good athletes on
yes sir.
at that school. Peyton, I know that you need to get to rehab and go see Brian, work on it. Best of luck, my friend. Thank you so much for coming by. One final question: can he outshoot your dad, or can he in a game of horse?
In a game
Does
of
he win?
force, he doesn't win anymore. He can hang around for a little bit, but not. No, he doesn't win anymore. No, no sir.
We're going to take a quick time out. Hey, we have Hannah Boyett coming up next on the Lions Den. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Lions Den. I'm Jimmy Haas, your host, and we do this thing weekly from Randall Ford here in Fort Smith, fourth oldest Ford dealership in America, over 115 plus years and continuing today. Fourth generation owned and operated, and pretty proud to be able to say that. There's a lot of businesses that are not over 100 years old, and you don't stay in business this long if you don't treat people right, and they certainly try to on a daily basis here at Randall. We've got Hannah Boyett from the UA Fort Smith Lions women's program. And Hannah, right now, you've reached some milestones in your career. And small town girl, come into college, had a big following in high school. It continued over because you grew up in Muldrow, but Muldrow, Roland, about the same town, right? Yeah, I want to get that in there, a little zinger in there, because I know the rivalry is huge. It's been a transition for you. You've come in. Your family and friends have been able to come to the ball games and watch you, and that's got to help. I just talked to Payton Brown about that. His family lives 35, 40 minutes south of here, so it's kind of a luxury because a lot of your teammates don't have that.
Yeah, I would say that the family experience and friendship experience has correlated in a way that a lot of people can't relate to.
Right.
I'm grateful for that. I still have some old classmates that will text me, "Are you still playing?" There's no way that is possible. And I have to kind of go down that rabbit hole, but I'm very grateful for my family that they can come to just about every game. They've made pretty close to every road games because of the travel change in the MIAA. So I'm very happy I got them.
A little bit easier in the MIAA. Brutal going to eastern New Mexico State, western New Mexico State. I know that Jostin loved the bus rides, but maybe that's one of the reasons Jostin quit going on road games. So was the bus rides. Speaking of Jostin, have you ever met a SID that talks slower than Jostin?
No.
I haven't either. I've seen several come through here, so I wanted to ask that. Right now his face is getting red. I know he's a little upset with us. He'll probably edit that part out. Let's just talk about your career. You had a unique career. It's been long in college, but it's not been your choosing. I mean, we had COVID, shut everything down. It was miserable. Probably one of the worst times of my life. Not because I caught COVID, but because everything was shut down, basketball included.
Yeah, that was a crazy time. I remember sitting in our dorm after we had just lost to, I think, St. Ed's my freshman year. We went down there, made the first round, and we came back, and it was 2 days later. Everything was shut down, like games, and then we're just sitting here. We didn't know what to do, and we got the call, "Hey, just go home. We'll reach out when we need to." So that was a transition I was not expecting. You know, no one expects that when you're first year of college. And then after that, it was the unknown, and it was kind of scary because all the goals got taken down in Muldrow, and then we couldn't get into the gym. So your basketball career was kind of on an edge, and you didn't know what to do. But I'm glad that's in the past, and we don't have to deal with that, hopefully.
You know, when they let us back in and we finally had games again, no stands or no fans in the stands, nothing. No. And it was eerie because you normally hear the background noise, you know, especially and like in my profession, being on the air and calling the games. Now everything that I say, everyone around can hear because it's so quiet.
Yeah.
And as a broadcaster, you start hearing yourself, and it's just a weird feeling. It had to be that way for the players.
Oh, for sure. I remember going to some games. They would just have a poster of your family members that would be there, and it was just kind of, like you said, eerie because you're used to seeing people in the stands, and then now you're having to produce your own energy even more from the bench and from within us. So, yeah, I don't want to go back to that.
You've seen some coaches since you've been here, different styles, different coaching techniques, and it's been an adjustment. I know that playing. Different coaches have different different things that they focus on, and I mean, this has been a transition for you. You've had to adjust, as other players have too. So let's just talk a little bit about that. Do you feel like that it is easier for you coming from a small school to be able to do that? Because, you had to play some bigger schools and you had, a lot of different styles, whereas sometimes you get accustomed to playing, the same schools and you know exactly what they're going to do. But your team wasn't afraid to step out and play anybody when you were in high school. Mm-hmm. So you got to see a lot of different players, a lot of different teams, a lot of different techniques. Has that helped you in the transition in the coaching and the different techniques that the coaches, apply, with their teams? Maybe slow down, speed up, maybe zone, no zone, maybe full court press, no full court press. You've seen all of that. Is it, do you feel like that's helped you?
I do think it's helped. In high school, I played with a lot of talented players like Maddie Chambers, Taylon Collins, Chaylin Mays, everybody who still comes to the games when they can. But, we were kind of a faster paced team in high school, and then we played a matchup zone. So it's kind of like I'm seeing sprinkles of it throughout my college career. My first couple of years here, we played semi-fast, but everybody in the Lone Star was really fast. And then now we're really fast, and we kind of have to slow down at times. So I think that the speed was something I really had to adjust to because the game was just a lot faster at this level than obviously at high school. But I think over time I've adapted pretty well. Like this year we're playing a good zone, and it kind of gives me like flashbacks to high school and how we ran it. But I do think so. I think it's just the speed. Everyone has to adjust to that. So with teammates, with coaches, staff, their level, their standards, like you just have to adapt.
Sure. Well, let me ask you this. So talking with Payton felt like the Lone Star was a little quicker paced games than what the MIAA is as far as the men's side. What do you feel like the difference between the Lone Star and the MIAA that you've seen so far this year as a player?
I would say the speed and the post size. I feel like in the Lone Star, everyone was really fast, and the post players were very physical, which made our game physical. So when we came to the MIAA, I feel like we bring that physicality and the speed that most other teams don't. So they have to adjust to us, but we're also adjusting to them because it feels like they run a play just about every single possession, and it can drag out from 30 seconds all the time. So we're really focusing on the defensive end, trying to stay disciplined and, shut the players down that we need to.
So a lot of times you will see a shooter go into a shooting slump, and sometimes people get aggravated. Well, why are they still shooting? They haven't hit anything all night. But from the shooter's perspective, you got to shoot your way out of it. And I've seen that so many times, both in men's and women's this year. The men went through a period where, like the first half, could not buy a bucket, and I felt so bad for them. And then the second half, they just kept shooting, and all of a sudden, I think they only missed 3 in the second half. So teams go through that. You've been through that. It's tough, though.
Yeah.
How tough is it mentally when you're on the court?
Oh, it's kind of frustrating. I remember early on in my career, I would get so mad. Like, I've never missed a shot before. But I changed my mentality as you have to shoot it. It's either going to go in or your teammates are going to rebound it and they're going to put it up. Right. So I think now I'm kind of not necessarily comfortable with my shot, but I know and I have the mentality that it's going to go in eventually, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to keep shooting because everything feels right. It's just sometimes the lid's on the basket and it won't go in. So
you just scored your 1,000th point, and not every college player even gets close to that. There are a few, but not very many. Had to be a special moment.
Oh yeah, I would have never guessed this was going to happen. Anything that I've accomplished, it was never on the bucket list. It was just put the jersey on, let's play.
Right.
I'm very thankful for the coaching staffs I've been with and my teammates over the years that have helped me and pushed me that far and made me realize that my potential hasn't been reached. I feel like at peaks there have been, but I feel like there's still more left to prove, and just to play with. I was grateful my family came. You know, it was surreal just to see them be able to just travel, and thank goodness it wasn't that far, but the energy from the team, it was surreal.
Well, you've been one of my favorite players since you stepped on campus, and you know we were when I found out that they were recruiting you, we actually came and watched a couple of games,
No
and
way.
just sat back and watched. Of course, didn't want to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to see the level of talent that was being recruited, and did not disappoint. And I was so glad that you signed and agreed to come play here, because we've seen some talented athletes in this area that have left and gone to other schools. And to me, at first, when you come from a small town, and Fort Smith's probably the biggest small town you'll ever find, but when you leave and you travel, you don't have that support system. You don't have your family close, where if you need to go home and do a load of laundry, or you just need someone to go talk to, you have that. And some of these athletes have struggled, and their college careers have been cut short because they lost focus. But I was so happy, because I could see the talent coming out of high school, and I was so glad that I knew that you would bring quality to the program. So it's been fun. Who pushed you to learn basketball? Who taught you?
Oh, my family might have to jump in, but I don't think they forced me to do anything I didn't want to do.
I didn't mean force, but I mean,
Yeah.
who put a basketball in your hand first?
I think it was myself, honestly. Basketball wasn't around my family at all, really. I grew up riding horses. Like, that was what I thought would be my life.
Barrel racer?
Yeah, I would do that. And then I just remember on the playground just playing, and then it kind of came like, this is fun. And then at that time, we didn't really have a lot of travel teams or anything. And then middle school, my high school coach actually picked us up and kind of put us together. And then she saw something we didn't see, and all this talent that hadn't been there years prior, and she was ready for us. And then we get to high school, and that same group, we all stay connected. So I think just at a young age, and probably 4th, 5th grade, maybe a late bloomer at that. But yeah, I think it was just me.
That's cool. Good story. What are you going to do after school, after your playing days are over? What do you want to do?
I want to play overseas if I can, if my body allows me, if the opportunity is right. I'd like to do that while I'm young and still able to play. And if not, then there's 2 routes I could go. Potentially run a clinic locally for healthcare administration, or get into the coaching realm.
Very cool. I think it would benefit a lot of players. So when you say you want to play overseas, there have been a lot of athletes come out of UA Fort Smith that's played professional ball. So there's always that chance, because I think the teams know that the quality of the student athletes that we have here, and I think they recognize that. So that's definitely something I think you'll be able to do if you choose to go that way. If you choose to become a coach, you want to coach college? Do you want to get into high school?
Probably just college.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to do that. It's always kind of been in the back of my mind. I liked the aspect of building relationships with players at the beginning and then see how they come out. I like that a lot. So if that's a recruiter, then so be it. But plug me in wherever, and I'll be pretty excited.
Yeah. Still not finished. I mean, you still have several games this season, and we're looking forward to all of them. We do want to do an in-depth interview with you closer to the end of the season, and just sit down and just have a one-on-one and just ask you a few questions about and break down. We literally don't have time on this show to be able to get into it, but you've been through a lot health-wise, and to still be on the court and still be able to play is something that I think it's important, because so many times players will give up and they lose focus, but you've always remained focused and you fought back from everything that you've been through. And there's a bunch of us that are proud of you.
Thank you.
So we'll get into that. We'll do that closer to the end of the year. Hey, that's going to do it for this week on the Lions Den. I appreciate Justin for not turning the camera off and throwing stuff, and I made fun of him about how slow he talks. Maybe that's a northern thing. I don't know. But anyhow, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. We've got more games coming up at the Stubblefield Center and on the road. If you want to follow us on the road, then just go to the MIAA network and you can watch all of the ball games. If you're in Fort Smith and you want to come out to the Stubblefield, we'd love to see your smiling face in those stands. For Hannah Boyett, Payton Brown, coaching staff here at UA Fort Smith, I'm Jimmy Haas. Thanks for tuning in to the Lions Den.